All right, welcome back, roomies, for another episode of Mas Que Un podcast. It's John here with Buga and Pablo. And of course, we're coming in with heavy hearts as Xavi has announced that he is leaving at the end of the season. So we'll be discussing that. We are coming off of a live recording over on Barca Boys channel over on YouTube, where we did go in depth with how we're reacting to the Xavi news, some potential next managers for Barca. So more conversation over there. Go check us out. Shout out to Barca Boy. Thanks for having us on. And before we go any further, like, subscribe, share, give us the 5-star rating, all the things that help the channel grow. We really do appreciate it. With that out of the way, like I said, we'll be talking Xavi. We'll be talking what's next for Barca in terms of next manager. What does the rest of the season look like? We'll talk a little bit about the last couple of matches, some takeaways, some highlights, and we'll process. We'll get through this together. Let me kick it over to Pablo first. How are we feeling, sir? What is your initial reaction? Where are you at with things with Xavi announcing he's leaving at the end of this season?
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot to get through. I think I'm hoping, over this episode, we'll try and do what we can to cover all the points that, all the fans will want to talk about. I mean, obviously, yeah, it's big news, unexpected news, I think, with the timing it's come out at. I think Xavi didn't want to leave through the back door as a manager, so he's just sort of taken the decision that when it started to get bad, I'm just going to leave now. He wasn't prepared to be one of those managers that let it get to a side that gets to ninth, or like Koeman let it get to. He wasn't prepared to do that. So look, fair play to him. I think it was always going to be the case that if he couldn't at least get some titles in his second full season as coach, that he was going to walk. He said that, and we probably took it with a pinch of salt at the time, but clearly he was more firm in that belief than we maybe gave him credit for. And obviously Barcelona in the summer probably didn't reinforce as we should have. Lost Busquets, lost Dembélé, couldn't properly replace them due to the financial situation. And we've regressed since last season. We've said it every week on the podcast how much we've regressed. And Xavi wasn't prepared to stick around any longer for that. And there were already obviously question marks whether he could even stay, having won no titles this season, which it looks almost certain like he won't. But he's decided to take the decision out of anyone's hands, out of Laporta's hands, and just said, I will go now. And he's made it so early that he's actually taken all the media pressure off of his back in a way, off the team's back. We've heard the team begging him to stay and whatnot and all of that. And I'm sure it's got very emotional. And it is sad to see him go. It really is, because I think he's one of the managers that maybe could have marked an era at Barca, but with the way this club is, it's so toxic and so fiery, it's so difficult to keep going for such an extended period of time. And, well, look, in fairness to Xavi, like I say, he's left in a good way. I think he's, protected his legacy as a coach as well. He would have come in, obviously, I think he's taken this team, by the way, from the pits and risen us up again to a title-winning team in just over a year, so I give him massive credit for that. Brought big players through the door. Sort of him plus Laporta brought the feeling of Barcelona back. But this season we have regressed. There's no two ways about it. And it's whether we can get back up there with Xavi. And the answer at the moment is looking like, well, we can't. Because this season is only really going in one direction. And maybe in the summer with players back from injury like Gavi and Balde would have changed. But hey, he's taken the decision. Probably the inevitable decision. And he's off.
Yeah. Yep. All those things. Buga, how you feeling, buddy?
I feel like I've been hitting the nuts. Barcelona, for me, I think like Pablo has said, it has regressed completely. When I looked at when Xavi arrived, you had Jordi Cruyff, Alemany. That Barcelona is not the same that I see right now. I feel that it's a little bit far gone from there, and I think that Xavi has realized he cannot turn these events. And I think that's the most sort of, in a way, brave thing you can do is just like, okay, I cannot do this. I will affect more of the club if I stay. Something needs to change. Something's got to give. We already talked about this in a different episode before, I think, in the sense that it's cheaper to just sack the manager than to change the entire project and all the players and whatnot, all the investments you've made. So I think Xavi has realized that, and that's why he has taken a step aside, not only to hopefully create a reaction so that we can get and push further forward in this league or in the championship, which are the two trophies that still remain. But I think it's a smart decision. I think it's a decision that we never thought. I don't think no one would have saw it coming. No one saw it coming because we never think that's actually a solution. But it tells us that Xavi loves the clubs more than himself and money and his status and his ego and whatnot. So I think that's very brave of him, and he has given Barcelona a lifeline, I think, now, where they can go and decide, take the time to pick the best manager, and that is something we're going to talk about. But right now, I think that it's understandable. It's understandable because it's a very toxic environment, and he has ultimately just taken the bullet to himself, and he has run away with it. He's saying, "Okay, I'm gonna do this." He's like a martyr in a way.
I think that's well said, Buga. I think Xavi has totally martyred himself in this situation. But let's bring in some context, because if you look back on some of Barcelona's past managers, right, in recent history, Pep Guardiola, Luis Enrique, and now Xavi, all leaving because they didn't want the stress. They didn't want the backlash from the supporters, right? None of those left because they weren't succeeding at the club. And those are three player legends, central midfielders, leaders of the club that are like, whoa. This is not worth it for me. This is not worth it for me, for my family. I'm out of here, you guys. And I think the way that Xavi is doing it, I think Xavi's doing it in a way that is holding up the mirror to the Barcelona community. And he's saying, you're not going to have a Sir Alex Ferguson. This is why. Look around you. This is you. I think he's holding up that mirror to all the culés that something needs to change, because Xavi believed in this project up until, a few months ago, when I think Barcelona fans really started pushing that Xavi out narrative.
It becomes unsustainable. It really is. And you're right. I think that he has done that, of putting the mirror there. Hopefully people understand, but they won't, because they're very young and dumb, and you need to understand. Come on. And it's like, I feel that hopefully it creates some sort of reaction so that we can finally realize how dumb we are in the way that we appreciate this. But more of the problem that actually the fans, I think, is just the fans, but the fans that come from the media, if you know what I mean. Like, the questions every single time in the press conference are bullshit. Like, come on, you study like 4 years, then get a master's degree to ask the stupidest of questions. Like, and that's a problem. We are too focused on the negatives always, and we never get to appreciate what we have until it's actually gone. And I think that's what Xavi sort of summarized in everything that he said. And now that's why I think Laporta needs to make not only the right decision, but hopefully we create something different, because we've been in this same profile of getting this sort of manager in, always the Barca philosophy and that. And trust me, I love the Barca philosophy and that. But who says we cannot evolve or change a little bit the direction? He's been saying that they want the German.
And who says we don't need to?
Exactly.
As well. Yeah.
We need to change something, because right now it's not working. But there's no problem in changing. In my opinion, is the only thing. What's the thing? Like, the only constant in life is change. So do it. You know.
Yeah. There's also the point that it's not like we were playing vintage Barca football under Xavi. Eh? Even when we won the titles, it's not like we're dropping like the next disciple of Pep. We're not playing 4-3-3 fluid, dominant football. A lot of this isn't great. We rely a lot on crosses into the box and whatnot, and that is our game. Our game is cross it, get it wide and whip it in and just steam players in, which is such an effective way to score in football. We have not been playing liquid Barca football for a long, long time. In fact, I think there's an argument that we might have even played our best football under Xavi in his very first season, when we had Aubameyang and stuff, and I don't think that's too far-fetched. Maybe at the start of the season we won La Liga, potentially there we had some great games. I think Bayern away, I thought we were superb, and then we lost 2-0, but at the start of that La Liga campaign, I thought we were really good. But after we changed to 4-4-2, I personally thought we did really well. We played good football in a different way. I don't have any problem with it, but in terms of the Barcelona purists, we weren't playing well under Xavi, and that's, I suppose, one thing I will say in terms of like Xavi leaving. It's not the end of the world for Barcelona in like a sporting sense, I don't think, because I think he would have gone at the end of the season anyway. It's a shock the way he's left now. But with the way we were playing, I mean, we weren't doing anything this season. I'm sorry, from pretty soon into the season, this football wasn't good. This football was not good, and I don't know what it was, but I'm sorry, we've said it almost every week. We're not playing that well at all. Conceding too many goals. Then we haven't even got the defensive solidity that we had last season. We're not scoring. We haven't been good this season, basically, and everyone can see that. So in that regard, we're not missing much. Like, do I think Xavi's done a fantastic job? I actually do. I really do, and that's why I rated his time here at Barca quite highly, actually, because I think he did a very good job of bringing a broken team up and making us feel like Barcelona again. And him and Laporta have done a great job with that, but we have been poor for a while. We cannot forget that. And he does have good players. And I think another coach will come in and think, this is a good squad, actually. I've got a lot of players who I'm seeing here who I can get a lot out of. Are we missing some pieces? Sure. A DM? 100%. Another left winger? Probably. Hey, I'm going to throw this up there too. A sub goalkeeper. We're definitely missing that.
Oof,
but still.
Gosh. Yeah.
But my point is that I do think we weren't and aren't doing that well under Xavi. And if you want good examples, Villarreal, Athletic Club, there's perfect ones in the last few weeks. We conceded 9 goals in those 2 games. Come on. So in that regard, I've got a lot of sympathy for Xavi, but I also think fair enough to him. He's seen, look, it's not working for me here. We've questioned his coaching staff too tactically. My point is we've questioned a lot of things of Xavi, and maybe another manager at the end of the season could come in and change things and make things better. And I think I also saw a stat that for all the financial issues we've got, we definitely have them. I think Barcelona has spent the most amount of money since Xavi came in La Liga by quite some margin over Real Madrid too. I know we had the Palancas summer, and that's definitely played into it. Ferran Torres' signing, of course, was under Xavi as well. So we've spent, I think, about 230 million euros. Real Madrid, I think, are about 130 themselves. So we have spent money under Xavi, is my point.
Ooh, that is fair. That is fair because the narrative is that Xavi hasn't been able to bring in his players.
Yeah.
And there is some truth to that, but there have been some that he has been able to bring in. And I think that inconsistency lines up with why we're in this situation in the first place is because of the inconsistency. We saw the best of Xavi's ideas and we saw the worst of Xavi's ideas, and maybe that is an experience thing. Maybe that's the learning curve that Xavi needs to go through at a different club is how to find the consistency and how to adapt match to match. It's not that the philosophy isn't correct, it's that the application from match to match needs to be fine-tuned. That could be it. I will say part of me is a little bit relieved because I did have concerns about Xavi driving Barcelona to more of a 2012-13-ish Barcelona, which was pretty boring to watch from my memories. A lot of possession that didn't go anywhere. And when we look at Barcelona's results under Xavi, the matches that were misses, it was that. It was a lot of possession that just went nowhere. So as someone who wants to see Barcelona play exciting football that sparks joy in my heart, part of me is like, okay, this is a rough breakup. He's a great guy. We don't want to hurt his feelings, but also you're not the one. You know what I mean? So we got to move on.
That's fair enough. And we've also come on here and said, Bulga, I know you've said it a lot. You still don't feel Barcelona are good enough in big games. We still don't feel as a fan base that we can turn up away to an Athletic Club, or say we draw Bayern in the quarterfinals away from them. We do not feel we can go to the Allianz Arena and beat them. Maybe that says it all, and Xavi still has a problem in Europe and in big games.
The problem that I see with that is that, and I don't know if this is Xavi's fault directly, but I look at that. There are 2 of the best games that I've seen under Xavi were the one that we beat Real Madrid in the COVID when we were wearing the Senyera kit and they were wearing their Y3 black kit where Aubameyang scored and did the Dragon Ball thingy. I don't know. I don't remember the score line. What was the score, like 4-0?
It's 4-1, I believe.
4-0.
Or was it 4-0? 4-0.
4-0, I think. So from that game, and the other one that's the second leg against Bayern Munich in the Allianz Arena, the teams are nowhere near. And you look at the team right now, they're nowhere near similar. I want to see some sort of consistency built. I always mention this, the road map. I look at Klopp when he went to Liverpool. First season, sure, he had like shit players. Then he moved, next season he brought in a Naby Keita that he wanted. He brought in like Van Dijk, he brought Alisson. He started building on that. Next season, he built the final pieces. That's what I mean, a sort of evolution. I see this team and I see like, it's a different thing every single time. Like we weren't even capable of keeping one of the best players that Xavi had got in his tenure, which was Aubameyang. He worked very well under Xavi. Let's not forget about that.
Yeah.
We had to sell him because of money. We sold the player who won us La Liga last year, Nkesi. We sold then, that we've just been sort of rotating players and squads all the time. So I don't know actually if I can blame Xavi for that sort of lack of consistency. I think that he's been just hampered by the situation and the current context more than what he's actually done on the field. But then are also plenty of course, you mentioned like situations where we've just defended horribly bad, situations where like we've been shifting players all around the field for no reason whatsoever. The injuries as well are very, very difficult to manage. And I think that we are incapable of seeing past that. So like you were saying at the start, I think the right thing was ultimately to let him go. Why? Because the situation has just gone too far. But it's not, it just simply hasn't worked out. It's not that I think it's Xavi's fault that we're here or it's the board that we are here. It just hasn't worked out.
Yeah, I've got sympathy, Rom. You speak about Klopp there. Klopp's won one league title in 9 years. You know, Xavi won a league title in 18 months. With that broken Barcelona team who he revived against Real Madrid and everything here in Spain, I'm not saying he's better than Klopp, but it puts it into perspective. Arteta, he's won basically nothing at Arsenal. He's won the FA Cup in the COVID season, you know, with a completely different team to the one he's got now. Since he's had this team, he's won nothing in the last 2 seasons. You know, so in that regard, it's harsh. I'm not saying it's the wrong decision, you know, for Xavi to walk or whatnot, although we're not doing badly this season, but context is important, and I still give Xavi a lot of credit for what he did, like for what he's done and what he did, like I say. But I also completely understand him going now. Like I say, I'm not sure we're going anywhere right now. I think his ideas have fallen off a bit. The fact that we've gone from that good defensively to that bad defensively within a few months is quite worrying. I do agree with that, and I don't really know how that change has happened so much. I think it was almost like he was asked, or he wanted himself to not play pragmatic football this season, and he wasn't capable of doing it. Like we're not tactically good enough not to be pragmatic. And I think Valverde probably suffered a similar thing actually when he tried to play well. It's like, nah, don't even try it because we're not good enough. We have to protect ourselves. So that's, you know, hampered him. I'm not sure about the guys he's got behind him in his coaching staff too, by the way. And obviously above him losing like Alemany and Cruyff has been a big loss. But he's lost big players as well.
That was a massive.
Yeah, that is massive. You know, he's lost his support of the club. I don't know how much Deco supports him, to be honest. Losing Busquets is huge. Replacing Busquets with Romeo is absurd. Losing Dembélé, who was like his better right wing, is huge. So of course he's gone through a lot of adversity. I've got a lot of sympathy for him, but yeah, I think it's fair play to him for leaving through the front door, not the back one. And you know, I do thank him a lot for what he's done for the club. I really do, because I think he's done a lot, probably more than people realise.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that. I'm kind of having Xavi's comments of, you know, will you miss me, kind of echoing through my mind. And I think the question that he's asking is, you know, are people gonna not just view him favorably, but are we gonna wisen up in terms of our expectations? You know what I mean? Like, we definitely got spoiled in the Pep Guardiola and Messi era. Dynasties don't just continue on forever. You know, if you look historically, like even if you just go back to like the 70s, if you look at who were the top clubs, those aren't the top clubs anymore, right? The 80s as well. If you look at Arsenal, look at Man United, look at any of the top Italian clubs that were once the biggest names in football that over the last decade or something are not. Barcelona has done a pretty good job of still remaining relevant, still winning trophies, still giving stuff, you know, for the supporters to get excited about in terms of fresh faces coming in. So, you know, I think Xavi was a unfortunate failure of the situation, right? I don't know what percentage falls where, but the fact that even though money was spent, Barcelona's finances have been restricted. We needed him to come in probably like 2 seasons before he was actually ready to step into a role like what we're seeing at Barcelona. I mean, I would have loved to see Ronald Koeman or anybody right before him have 2 or 3 years of success and then Xavi come in. You know, so I think Xavi coming in early, Barcelona's financial situation, the injuries, and then this season in particular, it's not just the defense, it's the lack of finishing as well. I didn't look into it, and I'm not even going to remember the source, so maybe somebody in the comments can correct me or find the comment and prove me right. There was some stat around the midpoint of the year, like early January, that had Barcelona finished all of their chances that hit the woodwork we would have been in first place in La Liga. So
margins. Football is margins. It's a funny sport. It's a really funny sport. I think look back, by the way, to a lot of our 1-0 wins last season. I know we stormed La Liga in the end. Oh my God. So many of those 1-0 wins, by the way, could have so easily conceded 4 or 5 times in the game. I think I was even looking at some of the mundane wins. We beat Celta Vigo at home 1-0 at the Camp Nou last season. Oh, I think we gave Iago Aspas a clean one-on-one chance in the 70th minute. Missed it. Would have scored it this season. Bang, 1-0.
Ter Stegen was immense in that game.
Yeah. Football is like that. Athletic Club away from home. I think we blocked off the line 4 times in the last 4 minutes. I couldn't believe what I was watching. And that happened a lot of times last season. An awful lot of times. Football is margins. It really is. And sometimes you can think you're a million miles away when you're not. And that's the way it's gone. But I think on overall, we probably haven't been good enough this season, you know?
we have. I mean, look at the spine of our team.
Yeah.
Ter Stegen downgraded to Peña. Gavi out for the season early. Lewandowski never really got started. He's still our top goal scorer and top assist, by the way. I don't know if anybody's looked at that recently with all the hate that Lewandowski gets. Still top goals, still top assist.
But isn't Ferran Torres our main guy in attack? Like, come on. Put some respect on the Sharks.
Rafinha is tied for second most assists on the year. So it's sometimes people need to look at the stats and see who is producing before we talk shit about these players. But it is what it is. If you look at that spine, Ter Stegen, Gavi, Lewandowski, all a shadow of themselves or not playing. So this was inevitable. It's the perfect storm. It all just kind of started falling apart. I do think there is still a very bright future, and that future is not far away for Barcelona.
Yeah.
If we can turn to maybe some of the silver lining over these last couple of matches, Hector Fort, Cubarsí, they're ready.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? I mean, I'm seeing composure. I'm seeing passing vision.
You are wrong.
I'm seeing some swagger.
You are wrong.
Booga, you feel differently.
Yeah. I mean, they're good players, but...
All right, bring us back down to earth then, Booga.
They're good players, but are you really being serious? Like, you cannot rely on a 16-year-old to be your guy for... Like, he's 16, dude. Like,
tell that to Lamine Yamal.
Yeah.
As he smokes
he's
past
still
defenders
young.
in La Liga.
I still wouldn't put him... I still wouldn't rely on him, like, the bet for the next 2 years.
But in 2 years, yes. I think that's why I say Barcelona's future is very near. I think 2 years from now, we'll be feeling a lot better about things. They're not ready now. Like obviously, we go into any of these competitions, as Pablo said earlier, we're not confident in these, right? But could Lamine, Hector Fort, and Cubarsí be starting regularly in La Liga? That's what I mean by ready.
I mean, it's a fair point. But what I mean is that we are looking at Cubarsí and Hector Fort like, okay, yeah, amazing. We always do this. We always produce these amazing La Masia graduates. But it's like, come on, even like a Christensen, I think it's like amazing center back. Like, it's not taking away anything from Cubarsí, and I agree. But what I mean is by let's not put the focus on that when right now this team needs more than what we're getting. And I think that's the sort of discussion that I want to put to the table still. Like, I'm a little bit harsher on Barca than maybe you two guys, but it's like, I don't know. I just feel that this team has to be ready-made. We have to be, with the things that we have, with the limitations that we have, I think this team can do much better than being reliant on these 16 years old, which, of course, they are here because of the injuries and stuff we've done. But we need to start getting our shit together. Like, I'm done being second fiddle to every single team out there. We are a shit team. Not kid yourself. We play horribly bad. We play horrendous football.
My goodness.
I get bored in the games. I don't remember the last time. Yeah. I don't remember the last time I've watched a complete La Liga game and I've not like John or like fallen asleep a little bit. It's like that. I do not lie. I kid you not, because here are after lunch as well. So when you're just eating lunch early with like, like that. Yeah, I've never ever. I don't remember for the longest of times. I'm done, dude. I used to match every single Barca match in my calendar. I am done with this mediocre football, and I think that we can turn it around if we can. But there is just, I don't know why the fuck we just sold every player in reality. Like, why bringing I don't know. Why bring in Gundogan where we can just keep KC and build on what we're having and keep players like I don't know, Aubameyang. No need to bring, like, you know what I mean. I think the evolution has sufficient shit. I forgot what you just said. I just got this off my chest. I like it.
I do think that is fair. I do think that is fair. The football is dull. I do agree with that. It has been for a while. It has been. I think we've almost just been rooted. I know. I think for me personally, probably watching that first half of the season, the one after Messi left, I think was it 21 to 22, right? I think I was just like anything. The standards dropped, obviously. That's when Xavi came in. I was like, we were almost like, thank you. We'll take it. If we're not playing that well, we'll just take it. We probably felt that even when Valverde was in as well, actually, to be honest. We probably sunk into that a little bit. But that's, I think, why the standard has dropped. But I do agree, but this season is just dead. We feel like we can concede all the time. We don't attack with fluidity. And in all truth, we've actually got the players. I think that's what's disappointing for me. We actually have got a very good squad. Look at our players, guys, honestly. If anyone takes a pause and scrolls through Barcelona's squad, we've got so many good players now. I personally don't think the squad is that big of an issue right now. There are one or two players, right, who could come in. Like I've said a few times now, sure, there are. And some of them are big, but the DM is massive. I completely agree. But there are brilliant players. Brilliant players who we would have screamed for a while ago. Like even we complain about the midfield, but even like De Jong, Gundogan, and Pedri in midfield. My God,
you should be able to win with that.
You should
be able to win with that. Yeah.
My God, I think Pep wins with that. You know.
I go back to the problem of like the consistency. The most excited I've been for Barcelona under Xavi was our victory over Atletico Madrid when Dani Alves scored a long time ago. Remember?
Yeah. Oh, and
that's the last time I've been like.
It was in the first season, wasn't it? It was
in the first season.
Yeah. Look, that was a fun year. That was a very fun year.
Imagine if you take out Dani Alves and bring in Joao Cancelo to that team. Like, that's what I mean. Yeah. There's no evolution. We've gone from that, regress, change our tactics, then become a different team for winning La Liga. And then this year, we are different from the last two seasons every single time. I see no problem. Even Ernesto Valverde had more consistency in his teams. That's what I mean. Every year, there needs to be some sort of evolution. And I just hate that right now we basically build something, implode. Build something, implode. Yeah. And there are a lot of things that go down to that. The decisions upstage with Alemany, Cruyff leaving, then you have getting rid of players just because of financial success and stuff like that, which of course I understand. We are all in this because of Bartomeu, and Bartomeu should really, we all put our hate to that guy. Like, why the hell he was watching our game against Unionistas? Let's kick him out the door. If I was there, I would only just punch him in the face. I don't care. I'll take it. And that's the thing. Yeah. I mean, right now we need to get some sort of stability, and I say this with the heartest of hearts. Do not get this appointment wrong, because we need stability. We need to, whatever we pick, keep for the next 2 years, but build on it. Because Xavi was that, but we imploded. I think last season in the summer transfer window, like we imploded completely. Yeah. Our squad is worse than then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you all on that. I mean, let's be clear about when we say, Barcelona should be winning with this team. Like, I don't think, even with the big name players, comparatively, we're not a Champions League winning team. But should we be doing better in La Liga? Should we have done better in Copa del Rey? 100%. Look how often we lose to La Liga teams that are primarily relying on former Barcelona players. Look at how often that happens. It's incredibly frustrating. Just take a look. Be mindful of that in the back season. Those that are listening, pay attention to how often that happens.
Of La Liga.
Come on.
What'd you say?
What do you want about it?
Is Spurs a better team than Barcelona right now?
We're the holders.
Tottenham Hotspurs. That's your question?
I think that Tottenham are a better team than Barcelona right now.
I think
they beat us. I think they beat us in a game.
Is Barcelona fully healthy or no?
No, right now.
Like, are we taking like is the match tomorrow, or do we get a fully fit Barcelona?
Tomorrow.
Well, then we're pretty boned, because Heung-min Son is going to absolutely wreck us.
No, he's not even there. They got Timo Werner, a left wing. They still beat us. They're a better team. Pablo just left the chat.
Pablo just left. He said, "I'm not even going to have this conversation." He said, "How dare you bring Tottenham into this?"
I have a soft spot for okay. Anyhow.
We are
Sorry,
I think
am I
I
back?
think Laporta does a good job of providing the smoke and mirrors to create the illusion that Barcelona are still a competitive team in Europe. I think we're below Milan, Juve, Inter. We're
Who's
below
Juve? Juve, John. Come on, we've talked about this.
Juve, Juventus,
Juve.
Juventus.
We've talked about
Depends on where you are. We don't need to get it. Listen, depending on where you are in the world, right? You're going to pronounce these things differently. I'm sure in the comments people go crazy. I get this all the time as the American on the podcast. You're not saying it right. You can't pronounce the names. It happens. It happens sometimes.
it. Yeah.
We're checking on
Pablo, what
on
happened
Pablo.
there? Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
But
Same thing
should-
again. So
Yeah. Should we start the discussion then on the future of what remains?
yeah. While
While we wait
Pablo
for
gets
Pablo.
his tech in order, we'll go ahead and
So I'll
talk
just
about
list.
the
I made
future.
my list of potential managers.
You
that
got a
make
list
sense.
already?
I got a list.
Cold-hearted.
This is the list of managers that I think are the most likely to come. But I think we already
Pablo's back.
discussed that in Barca Boy, like which is the one I would really like to see. But I think that we should discuss. If you want to add anyone to this list, let me know and we'll do it. Arteta, Flick, Tuchel, Mota, or Marquez. I put them in the same boat. Gallardo and Mourinho.
You kept Mourinho on the list.
I kept Mourinho.
Wait, what? Wait, do we don't even have an
Mourinho would be
Alguacil,
the
do we?
silliest.
I
Was
don't
that
think
Pablo?
he's not gonna leave La Real.
You didn't even have like Alguacil or Michel on the list.
They won't leave. They won't leave.
Really,
Mitchell's more likely.
I think you'd be surprised, by the way, when Barcelona knock at these clubs and these guys. I think, yeah, like in principle, they might think like that's not the best idea for my career, but they think, but it is Barcelona, so I am going to do it. It's human nature.
Is
think it's-
Barcelona an attractive target right now? Maybe we start with that before we start talking about like who we want to come in. If you're one of these managers, what about the Barcelona project attracts you right now? If you're one of these managers,
Literally just the name. This happens all the time with like Manchester United or Chelsea even right now. That Chelsea are the favourites to sign Victor Osimhen this summer. One of the biggest strikers in like Europe. For what? Why? What on earth have Chelsea done in the last 18 months to get a player like Victor Osimhen? Absolutely nothing. We're a bit of a shipwreck really. But guess what? Will he be a Chelsea player? I think it's likely. It's that again. And never mind Barcelona. The name of Barcelona, I think, honestly, we just, logic goes aside, whether fortunately or unfortunately for them.
Buga, what do you think?
About
Manager
Barca.
Buga, Barcelona's calling. What brings you in?
I'd be a massive good manager for Barcelona. Don't underestimate me. I will win the treble my first season. I kid you not.
I believe
I
it.
would bench
Let's get him in.
Lewandowski every single game.
He played for Real every game.
Yes. Okay. Anyhow, what brings me into Barcelona? I think the players. I think that any manager who really backs themselves look at this squad and says, "Okay, this is a very talented group of players. What can I do with them?" That's one thing. But if I'm honest, I'm just very unappealed by the rest. You know, it's like if I look at it's like I look at it and I think. I don't have the backing. There's no money. The fans are shit. There's toxic environment. They expect to win the treble every year. You still have the pressure of Messi. If Ansu Fati comes back and he gets a 10 again, oh my God, that's going to be a massive toxic cloud again. It's like there's so much stuff that we care about that it's really not that important in reality. But for a manager, it makes a lot of difference. And Xavi is literally just resigned because of that. So it really is very unattractive. And I think that it needs to be a manager that backs himself so much, like he has incredible ego or whatnot, but then also someone who's able to mold and someone who's different enough so it doesn't feed in directly into the criticism. Like an Alguacil would just be taken down completely by the media and everyone will be falling to him. It has to be someone different, someone who is, it's so far-fetched that we got him, or it's so different to what we normally have that the media doesn't even know how to react and how to criticize him. And I think that's what we need. Like, that's why I go with the shout of the German guy. Like, bring that guy in.
You talking Flick or you talking Tuchel?
One of the two.
Just bring me the German guy.
Bring me Roger Schmidt from, I don't know where he's managing now, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Everybody wants to see Pablo with a smile on his face. Pablo, how do you feel about Thomas Tuchel coming to Barcelona?
Oh God.
Is being a thing?
It is for me. It is for me, yeah. I mean, that's why I made a few of these points on the Barca Boy live and sort of going through the candidates. I mean, I think the likes of like Klopp and Arteta aren't going to come. I wouldn't go for like a Thiago Motta or Marquez. I think Alguacil and Michel sort of struck me as like Valverde type appointments. Could actually be both good managers. I think Alguacil in particular, I really rate. I think he plays great football at La Real, and whether we'd be able to get them out of their clubs or not, I'm unsure. But I don't think they're massively inspiring appointments, and that's why I think all attention turns to the German guys. I think there's probably three of them: Nagelsmann, Flick, and Tuchel. I think Flick is probably the most obvious because he's been out of the club for a while. Laporta wanted him in 2021, by the way, couldn't get him. Nagelsmann has just been unlinked, really, which I found quite interesting, I must admit. He's there, guys, but he's sort of just been passed on. So, well, that's a good thing for him, I'm not sure. But yeah, look, Tuchel's the one I want, I think. And it's why I'd wait till the end of the season, because I think a lot can change. I look at Luis Enrique's situation at PSG and I think similarly about that as well. Less likely than Tuchel, I think, but I think Tuchel would walk to Barcelona. I think he would desperately want the job. I don't think he's comfortable at Bayern Munich. I think Bayern Munich want Xabi Alonso. And for me, Tuchel brings you everything. He really does. He's a tactically sharp manager. I think he gets the best out of players. He'd look at the Barcelona squad and think there's a lot of talent in there that I can work with. And it's his charisma as well as his character. I think Barcelona fans would love him and get behind him. So, honestly, he'd be my bet. He would be. It's obviously a personal one for me, but I want what's best for Barcelona. I think he'd be a really good appointment. He'd ignite a fire in the fan base and in this squad. He's a fighter. He's a winner. He produces on big games. He's not a big game manager. He's brilliant at big games. I will say that. He always was for Chelsea. So, yeah, he'd be my bet. And I think it'd be a statement manager as well. You talk about you wanting someone different, yeah. Change the dynamic a bit. Bring a bit of something to Barcelona. He commands a touchline. So I think he'd be my guy. Maybe the Spanish could be a bit of a barrier, but I think for what Tuchel brings as a coach, I mean, you guys know how much I love him, but if we can get Tuchel, I'd be a very happy man because I think he's superb.
I don't know what it is. Pablo's starting to win me over. It's starting to sound good. I don't know. Am I out of line, Buga? Well, no, you said it too. You said bring me the German.
Yeah,
so.
I think it's Tuchel or Flick for me. It makes the most sense. It's as different as someone who won't fall into the media criticism right away. Well, I like Aguacil as well. I respect him, but my God, he's just gonna be food for, I don't know how you say it, food for the dogs or something like that.
Yeah,
he's just gonna be devoured by everyone in the media, and I think that Hansi Flick or Tuchel will get the time, and I think most importantly, people are just gonna be more in awe of them rather than just completely destroying them. They're not gonna be above the media for the first few weeks or month. Xavi, the day he got in, he was below the media, below El Chiringuito and those guys who they talk trash. Like, it's important. We like it or not, they have some influence of what goes in football in Spain, and I think that's something important to remember. And I feel that Flick or Tuchel would just be the most important, and we'll get finally Barcelona one thing that they've lost for the longest of times, and that's a good press.
Right.
No, not press from the board, like a good pressure in the winning the ball back.
Good pressure. Yeah. That makes sense. We'll see. We talked a little bit, like we said on Barca Boys Live, about timeline of things. I think everybody was saying it probably won't happen right away. So let us know down in the comments. We're very interested to see where the listeners' heads are at in terms of who you want to see, who's realistic. Like, give us who you want to see, but then who do you think is going to be the next manager of Barcelona? We'd love to hear those two things from the roomies out there. Another shout out, like, subscribe, share, do all the things. Really helps out the podcast as we continue to grow and bring in new listeners. So thank you for doing that. Boys, I do want to take a look at the rest of the season. Where do you think Barcelona land in the La Liga table? What kind of showing do you think we get in Champions League? Because that's what we got left.
Ideally, if we continue like this actually gotten a reaction out of the team. Players start to play for the heart of the club and whatnot. But I mean, they've already been doing that for the season, I suppose.
Yeah.
I
thought real quick, Buga. I thought they really did give it their all in that last match against Villarreal.
Yeah.
I think you saw in the reaction when they gave up not the last goal, but the one before that gave up the lead late. I think they really, really were playing with everything that they had.
For the manager. Yeah. They were playing for the manager. They were playing for the project. I think, though, that there's a pressure that has now been relieved, and that's 100% true. Like, now that Xavi's leaving 100%, they know that, okay, it's not... I don't know. It's like do or die, but it's not like do or die. You know what I mean? It's not like you die, but you get a second
There's nothing left to lose.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing left to lose. Like there's no worry about what might happen. We know
because we
Xavi's
know what's
leaving.
going to happen, and I like that Xavi has taken that initiative. He's like, okay, I'm gonna make something happen, and that's what real leaders do. So I do think that was brave. I think that is very smart from him. The best idea would be to win. You know what? To win something. I don't think it's going to happen. No team has ever come back from 10 points deficit in La Liga to win La Liga at the end of the day. No one has done that. Maybe it's the first time for everything. Who knows? I would love... The thing that I do want the most...
Don't give these people hope, Buga. Don't you do it.
The things that I want the most is to finish top 2, if we can. Second place. Finish third, maybe. I mean, we're third right now, right?
We're fourth right now.
Oh, okay. JK. Finish... top or second or third, because particularly second, because I think Supercopa is important for next year.
Yeah, if we don't get top 2, there's no Supercopa for us.
Yeah.
I know.
And I think we need the showing in the Champions League to be good. Like, we need to beat Napoli. If we lose Napoli, that's going to be even worse than Reyes right now. I kid you not. We will be worse position than we are right now.
That'd be a terrible feeling if we get knocked out by Napoli.
Yeah.
And even with everything going on, I still want Barca and expect Barca to get through that Napoli tie.
It's not. Don't like calm down. Like that's what I mean. We need to go heads down. Heads. I don't think it's. I don't think it's like
my heads up, Buga. Buga, where are you? Come on, where's my baby shark? Where's my baby shark? Come on.
I mean, we need to like respect Napoli. I think that it's not a given that we go through.
No, not at all. Not at all.
No.
But.
And then the most important thing, we need to lose with our heads up to whoever we play in the quarterfinals. We go through, amazing. We lose, we have to go. We have to lose with our heads up. That's the most important thing that I want. And my entirety summarize of the season will come down to that. It's massive.
Paulo, what are your expectations?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say, I know Peter made quite a few comments. I don't think this group of players have stopped playing for Xavi. Can I just say that?
Yep.
Can I just say that? Because I think a lot of people have said, like, spineless, like, cowards, stop playing for this is your doing. Like, it is a little bit because they've been really poor, but I don't think that's come from them, like, trying to get the manager out or, like, downing tools. I think we've been throwing our body on the line in games. I think we've just been shocking, to be honest, in a lot of them. I see a lot of heart and desire, but it's almost like it's too rash, and too little, too late. Often, but I don't think it's a problem of the players not caring. I think the group does care. You probably could tell that after the players crying in Xavi's speech yesterday. But so remainder of the season, I'm honestly expecting a lot of the same. Napoli, I think we get through, but I don't think we're going to do it in brilliant fashion. I'm going to say that. I think this actually reeks a bit of our Champions League campaign under Setien, where we beat Napoli. But I remember the second half of that Napoli game, I was like, we are doing nothing in the quarterfinals. Then we beat them 3-1 in the end. It was like, well, I think we'll get through Napoli, but not convincingly or impressively, and that'll set us up for a quarterfinal that I think we'll probably lose. And then in La Liga, I think it's going to be difficult to get top 2. By the way, I completely agree how important it's going to be, but Girona are far away. Real Madrid are going to win the title by a few points. I think probably about 6 or 7 at the end of it. I reckon. And then you got, Girona, unless they're going to have to drop a lot of points, for between now and the end of the season. So, hey, I'm not sure about top 2. We've got to make sure we get top 4, but I'd expect us to finish third in La Liga. And I think there'll be some games where we have 5-3 losses, other games where we show a lot of heart and fight. I think it's going to be a mixed bag.
Yeah, I know I'm looking too far into the future now, but I'm just kind of curious, speculating how far Barcelona could get if all things kind of lined up for them. Mm-hmm. And so I'm looking at the fixtures coming up. in this round of 16, and if I'm going to make some assumptions about who can win that tie, and could Barcelona beat that team, right? So Copenhagen, Man City, that's Man City. No way Barcelona win that.
Yep.
Leipzig, Real Madrid. There's no way you go Barcelona over Real Madrid in Champions League right now.
Nope.
PSG Sociedad is interesting because I think Sociedad have a puncher's chance in that. A puncher's chance. They can get a 1-0 win at home and then a 0-0 away. They could do that. Not likely, but they could do it. If PSG get out, no. If Sociedad get out,
Yeah, I agree.
maybe. All right. Lazio Bayern, that's Bayern. I don't think we can even beat Bayern Munich right now. PSV Dortmund, I do think we could beat the winner of that.
Have to.
Have to,
You
right?
would have to be. You would have to.
Yeah,
so,
you would.
So there's at least one team that if Barcelona get out, either PSV or Dortmund.
Mm-hmm.
Inter Atletico Madrid, yeah, maybe. Porto Arsenal is interesting. I think we beat Porto. I don't know if we beat Arsenal, and the fact that those words came out of my mouth, it just sucks so bad right now.
It's embarrassing. That is embarrassing.
But-
I'm gonna go brush my teeth after this.
That does say it all, though. That
Yeah.
actually does say it all. If we are seriously sitting here with our squad saying we can't beat Arsenal, and I agree with you, John, I think that's piss poor. But the only thing that might get through Arsenal is they will probably be in a similar position to us. They are shocking in Champions League and quite shocking in big games on Arteta when they need to win and get through in the cups or whatnot, or in big Premier League games. They also falter, so they will also be coming into that game thinking, "No way we beat Barcelona." So we could actually slap them down there. But yeah, I still would put Arsenal above us right now. I think they've got a lot more stability.
Yeah. So even with that, best case scenario, we win against Napoli, then we get either PSV or Dortmund. We beat them, and that gets us into the semis, right? But then the run stops there. There's no way we get beyond the semis. We would have to hope to not get embarrassed in the semis.
When I draft my dream Champions League, I always do this. I do Barcelona beat Napoli, then we get Dortmund in the semifinals, then we beat them, then we get Arsenal, which I think we can do what Pablo says, and then we get Atletico Madrid in the final, and then we win. That's
Bro,
what
I mean,
because and then I go okay, who can beat Real Madrid? Atletico Madrid can beat Real Madrid.
Atletico.
Who can beat Bayern Munich? Atletico Madrid can beat Bayern Munich. For me, Atletico, I want them to win a champion. They deserve at least one Champions League in my opinion.
They do, bless them, yeah.
They do. And I think that Atletico Madrid, if Barcelona is not there, I want them to win the Champions League. I'm not gonna say otherwise, but I do think that they are like the giant killer if they really are playing good, and they're playing really good. So, yeah, that's how Barcelona can win the Champions League.
If Man City and Real Madrid get drawn together,
yeah, Real Madrid beat them, and then Atletico Madrid get Real Madrid in the final. Atletico Madrid win, they go to the final. Barca get Arsenal.
I could see that happen. Again, I don't like that we're giving the people any sliver of hope in this, but
We've lost it.
We're so gonna lose
fun to
against
dream.
Osasuna.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Everything's
All right.
gone to
Well,
shit.
what is up next for Barcelona? I'm bringing up the fixtures
Osasuna.
now because I know I just jumped it. It is Osasuna. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Osasuna on the 31st. So by the next pod, we'll have Osasuna match coming up midweek, and then Alaves away on the 3rd before we pod again.
We need a win. Last game against Villarreal for me was a win. We need a win. We need to win that game.
I know.
We still need to win this one, but I'm not too sure whether.
We do have to worry about. Yeah, we do have to worry about top 4.
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
we are ideally still pushing for top 2, but if we don't turn things around, we're looking at getting bounced out of European football altogether.
Oh yeah, Athletic Club and Atletico Madrid. You got to say they're looking stronger than Barcelona right now. Never mind Girona and Real Madrid. Then you got Real Sociedad behind them. I mean, we have got to be really careful. Really careful.
So keep tuning in because there's still a lot to fight for here, folks. Lots of conversation
And-
still to come. Go ahead, Buga.
I just want to say for everybody out there who's probably gonna ask why we didn't talk about him. No, Klopp is not gonna come to Barcelona in a million years. So calm down.
Not
no
the
way.
timing's not going to line up.
No.
You got to read the headlines. Klopp has said, he said, no club, no country, Definitely not for the next year. And even if I don't have anything to eat, never English club, never again.
That's the
very
worst.
good
I
impression.
think that's pretty dead on.
That's
For all the listeners out there, that wasn't a clip. That was just me.
That's as
yeah.
bad as
Jurgen
Jurgen
Klopp,
Klopp.
friend of the pod. Jurgen Klopp. Friend of the pod.
Well, is he friend of the pod?
Friend of the pod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. In fact, I was surprised he didn't let us break the news. I was kind of surprised by that. But
Do you know
I
another
thought-
friend of the pod?
was that?
Mosquera, another friend of the pod, Mosquera played against Barcelona, you know? He was at
Oh yeah, I was gonna bring that up, dude. I when he came on, former FCC Loney,
Is he good?
when he
Was
came
he
on,
good?
I was like, please, Mosquera, don't hurt us, dude. Please don't. Like I
He
was
came in
just
two
like,
goals.
I don't want to have. Yeah, I didn't want to have to explain to the boys that a former FCC guy fucking buried us, but it was whatever. It was whatever.
Friend of the pod, though.
Friend of the pod, Mascara, absolutely.
Everyone's friend of the pod. Thiago Pizarro, friend of the pod. Harry Kane, friend
Oh,
of
you
the
know,
pod.
he's a
Harry
big.
Ca- Harry-
Those two are big friends of the pod, though.
Yeah. And
I'm
how
gonna
could they
get-
not be? This is
I'm gonna get Pizarro to say something like subscribe to Baskin Pod. He's butchered
it's up to you,
English.
Buga. You can do it with the Peruvian connections. I believe in you.
No, I actually do have a connection to him, so yeah.
I'm counting
Okay.
on it. Yeah.
I know
All
Pablo
right.
has
Any
a connection
final
to Harry Kane.
thoughts? any final thoughts, boys, before we wrap this one up?
I don't know. I honestly am very done with football. Like, like I'm very, very done with football. I had it all. Like not even last time when Barca were shit, Peru were kind of good. So I like that. But now Peru is like shit as well. Our manager has now gone to our rivals. Can you believe that?
Oh wow.
Yeah, he has gone to my Chile, and Chile is like the derby of the Pacific. So
All right. Keep us up to date on that drama.
so I'm sad. Yeah,
Yep.
I
All
wanna
right.
watch
Pablo, anything
Formula
from you,
One.
sir?
Me.
Right on. Okay. Well, roomies, let us know what you think. Let us know how you're feeling. We'd love to hear from you. Keep the comments going. Like we said, we are going to start pulling some of those comments into these episodes, responding during the live recording. So give us your thoughts. Give us your questions. Love to hear from you. That's going to be it for now. John, Buga, Pablo, right here on Mas Que Un podcast every Monday. We'll see you next time, friends.
Take care.
ciao ciao.